All right, welcome back. So what did we learn? If we want to install a package, let me reorganize my windows here. If we want to install a package, this is what we do. We type install. Well, let's do question mark install as we found. And as soon as I type it, as soon as I type install and press enter, it gave me that prompt to say, did you mean install dot packages? So I actually had to delete it to get rid of it. So let's type again install. And then right here, the very first thing that comes up, install packages. I'm gonna hit enter here. And as a review, this function is named install.packages. It comes out of a package called the utilities package, or technically utils. And we learned previously how to read a little bit about help files. But what's important here is that the first argument, named pkgs, is a character vector of the names of the packages that we want. So if we say install.packages quote, well, we go back here and we say, well, we want the knitr package. So knitr, and we should be able to install this package. And so this is what the installation looks like. If you got an error whenever installing the package, if yours said, okay, the installation had a non-zero exit status or something like that, you need to come talk to me. We need to sort this out because it is important for you to be able to install packages. I want to take a brief aside and talk about what packages are. Um, some of you, some of you have probably used, let's say hypothetically, you sent someone a calendar invite through Microsoft Outlook, and you connected a Zoom meeting or a Teams meeting to that calendar invite, because in this day and age, the pandemic and post-pandemic world, doing a lot of virtual meetings, a lot of Zoom, a lot of Teams, not so much WebEx and Citrix anymore, but or GoTo meetings. There's all these older softwares that worked years and years ago. I suppose they still exist, but primarily you say, okay, well, I want to send someone an invitation for, I don't know, 11:30 to 12 on Wednesday. Then you create this calendar invite, and you have an option in Microsoft Outlook that says add a Zoom meeting now, or add a Teams meeting. That didn't come automatically with Microsoft Outlook. You had to do something where you or someone, one of your system administrators or whatever, helps you download to your computer an add-in for Microsoft Outlook that would allow Zoom and Outlook to talk to each other, to connect with each other. And what happens is Microsoft Outlook then says, okay, whenever you click this button that says add a Zoom meeting, it's going to turn on Zoom and go to Zoom and pull some functionality out of Zoom and put a meeting link inside of your Outlook invite. And then you send it, and the other person there, they say, okay, cool, we're meeting on Zoom. I understand this. So that Zoom button didn't come automatically with Microsoft Outlook. You had to add it in. If you're familiar with using Microsoft Excel for data analysis, some of you have used an add-in like the analysis pack, the analysis tool pack add-in in Microsoft Excel. You had to go download it, and you had to go into the option setting in Excel and click a button that says, I want to enable this add-in, okay? Similar things are happening here, okay? There was this add-in for R, what we're calling a package called knitr. And it's going to give R and RStudio some extra functionality that we didn't have access to before. So this is a piece of software that exists out on the internet. And we said, well, we need to go out to the internet, and we need to grab it. We need to bring it onto our computer. And that's the command install.packages. It goes out to the internet. It grabs the piece of software that's written for the R language, the add-in for the R language called knitr, and it brings it onto your computer and stores it on your hard disk somewhere. Now, that doesn't mean that we're going to use it immediately. Using it is a different function. So that's sort of like the idea of, okay, well, you've got Microsoft Outlook connected to Zoom, so there's a button there for you to use. But as soon as you click it, or until you click it, it's not going to do anything. So there's another step that we have to take after that, which we'll cover a little bit later for us to be able to use this package. But the first step is go out to the internet and grab this piece of software called Knitter that works with R. It's an R package. It adds extra functionality to R. Bring it onto your computer and save it there. And then the next step will be, okay, now we want to turn it on. But we'll get to there. We'll get to that later. For now, we just need to install it. Okay. So we've gotten the Knitter package installed. Let's create our very first basic Quarto report. And right here, if at any point, this is important, if when we pause this and you go through and try to do this on your own, if RStudio pops up a little button that says, oh, well, in order to do such and such, in order to make this Quarto report, in order to whatever, you need a newer version of this package, or you need to have such and such package installed. It is not installing a virus, I promise you. This software has been used by millions and millions of people. It is not going to steal your credit card information. So what you do, if RStudio prompts you, it says, hey, pops up a little window that says you need to install these packages, just click yes. Say, yes, I'd like to install. Also, if for some reason R says you need to restart before you can install this, click yes. Say, yes, I want to restart. Okay? If you get stuck on this, send me an email or come to my office and we'll work you through this. Alrighty then. So we're going to pause it here and you're going to follow this exercise. The steps are relatively simple. Click on the file button, go to new file and go to Quarto document, and you should see this window right here. So we're going to pause here and then we'll pick back up in a second. Okay, so hopefully you've all had a chance to do this and you should have a window that looks a little bit like this. So I've got this square window here. Obviously this is a picture, but to see it live, I'm going to say File, New File, and then Quarto Document. Now here's the thing. If you do not see this option, it probably means you're using a much older version of RStudio. Remember at the start of the class, we were supposed to install R and we were supposed to install RStudio. Now, some of you may have thought that you were very slick and you had R installed already. You had RStudio installed already. You didn't need to go through those steps. This is where you run into problems because you didn't listen, right? I forgive you though. It's going to be okay. What I need you to do is you need to stop this. You need to go back basically all the way back to the very first lesson where I introduce you the steps to configure your computer. You're gonna have to pause here. You're gonna have to pause this video. You have to go back, and you're gonna have to set up your computer appropriately. So that means download R, the newest version. Download RStudio, the newest version. Okay, and then you can come back and pick up this lesson where you are. Okay, so that's if you don't have these two options. If all you have is like instead it says this position, it says like R Markdown document or R Markdown presentation, then you know you've got an older version. You need it to say Quarto. So we're going to click on the button that says Quarto document, and we'll have this square that'll pop up in just a second. So that's what we see over here. We see this, and these are the options that we have. So the type of document, we just plain document. This is what we're gonna use. We can also build a slide deck for a presentation. So if you need to, if you want to for your PhD proposal defense or whatever, if you have a very data analysis intensive presentation, you may want to build a presentation using Quarto rather than PowerPoint or Keynote or whatever it is that you're using that you would normally use to build your slides. And then there's also we could also build an interactive. There's a Shiny or Observable JS websites. If you're not familiar with this, that's okay. This is more advanced stuff. There are some. Let's see. I think there's a professor. Well, yeah, if you're interested in learning more about this, just come talk to me and I'll try to point you to some faculty who can help you with that. But for now, we'll leave it on document. We'll leave it on HTML just to get started. For this class, though, whenever you turn in your homeworks and turn in projects, you're actually going to be turning in Microsoft Word projects. Yeah, that's simply because that'll allow me to use track changes to give you feedback on your projects. But for now, we're just going to use the HTML option. So this is where this is an exercise for you. Take some time, and so my title. What did I put my title in my notes? My first quarto. So we'll do my first. Again, if I could spell first quarto document. This is actually not my first quarto document. It's at least my second. And then my who am I? I am Gabriel Odom. And then down here, just leave this option for knitter. If you want to do a document that is using Python or Julia instead of R, you can change your engine to be a Jupyter notebook so that you can use Python or Julia. But for this class, please stick with knitter. There's an option here to use the visual markdown editor. I think this can be helpful once you're familiar with the basics, but I'd like you to see it without the visual editor first, just to get a little bit more used to how you're supposed to be typing these things. And then once you understand some of the machinery of it, then if you want to use the visual editor, you can. All right, so then I'm going to click the Create button. And what that does is it spins up a new window. Let's look through this thing right here. So this is our basic Quarto template. So we see what we typed up here, my first Quarto document, only for me. Let me make this a little bit bigger. So it says my first Quarto document, and then here's my name, and then here's the format is HTML. I in this example, we're using visual, the visual editor, and that's why this piece of code says editor is equal to visual. And then right here, we see that we've got comments. We've got like, this is English, where we're saying what we're doing and why, and then we have code right here. Okay, it's very important that we see that this document contains both English commentary and code commentary. Okay, so let's talk about. I think this is probably a good place to pause. That we've got our very first Quarto document, and then we're going to learn more about what the sections of this Quarto document and what they mean next time. All right, see you soon.